Welcome to the Salt Strong Fishing Podcast. Salt Strong has been helping saltwater anglers catch more fish in less time for 10 years and is now the largest and most trusted saltwater fishing community in America. If you want to catch more saltwater fish, then keep listening. If you want to speed up your fish catching results even faster, then join the private insider community at saltstrong.com. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
When to be honest and when not to be honest. Hey everybody, Joe Simons, like diamonds, back again, Salt Strong Unchurched. And this might be a confusing one. I think most of us were taught to always be honest. And I think in general that is true, but I'll kick this off with a little bit of a dad joke so you can understand where I'm going with some of this. So my wife asked me, is it just me or is the cat getting fat? Apparently it was a big mistake, replying, no, it's just you. And where I'm going with that is there are some times where complete and unfiltered honesty, like if you're let me, before I go any further, let me tell you, I did not actually say it to my wife, and I'm never implying that my wife is fat. That was completely a dad joke for this, all for the exercise here that we're going to go through on this podcast. There are times where you don't want the complete unfiltered truth to come out, where there are nicer ways to say something. Even if someone does ask you, does this make me look fat? And in the back of your head, you're like, yeah, it does. But there are other ways to say it, like, hey, babe, that actually looks great. But you know what I really love you in is that green dress over there. Just one of many examples, right? But I had two different instances over the last 30 days that have come up in my own life where I was really struggling to tell the truth, like the full truth and nothing but the truth, if you will. And I'll go through both of them and kind of tell you why I was struggling. So the first one was with some friends who were asking me about something with their son that I had some experience with. And I knew the answer. The answer is probably not what they wanted to hear per se. And I really struggled because, no one wants parent advice ever. Maybe not ever. I think deep down we all like advice, but no one wants parent advice when it makes the parent look bad, or that, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, or I've done a bad job, or I've screwed up. Just most people in general don't really love that. And they weren't exactly asking for parent advice. They were asking just kind of something similar. And I struggle, like, yeah, I could just say, yeah, you're doing a good job. Or I could just really say the truth, like, hey, here's what I'm really thinking. And here's a better solution that is going to make everyone's life better long-term. And I struggle with it because it was tough. I know for even parents to hear, just because it's not what most people would tell you. Most people would just say, oh yeah, great. And just kind of keep doing what you're doing. And that wasn't the real answer long-term. And I knew it deep down, 100%. And so I ended up just being completely honest, and obviously phrased it in just the right way, and had a follow-up call just to make sure none of it was miscommunicated or misconstrued, and ended up being awesome. And one of the parents replied, like, thank you so much, like, for being kind of bold enough to say that in a really nice way. Like, we would have been mad if we had found out, because they would have found out the truth at some point. And like, we would have been mad if we found out the real truth, like, let's just say 6 months or a year from now. And like, man, why didn't Joe just tell us that then? Right. And it's one of those, sometimes you can't win, right? If you've ever had to kind of step in and tell a best friend that, the person that they're with, like dating or married to, that you don't like them, or you don't think they're fit, or they're cheating on them, or whatever, sometimes the messenger gets shot, right? And that's why that is a saying, because back in the day, the powers that be, the kings of the world, would literally shoot the messenger if they came back with bad news. Like, literally, if a messenger was coming back from a war with bad news, they knew they were going to get killed. That's not fun, right? But you're also trying to do what's best for your friend. And so it's such a tough one. But I think what I've learned through just this recent experience is, you find the right way to say it. And you always be honest, because at some point the truth will come out, right? Whether it's that relationship or you're dealing with someone you love, maybe it's a best friend or it's a kid or it's a parent, whatever, and they're dating someone you don't like, or it's a job that you can see they're miserable in. And I think anytime that you get involved, you run that risk of being honest and having them now mad at you. So I also think you run the risk of 6 months or a year, 6 years later, when the person does realize the truth, like if it's so obvious, like they're going to realize this at some point, it's just a matter of when. And then they come back and now they're mad at you saying, well, why didn't you tell me? And you're like, well, if I had told you, you would have hated me. Like, I wish you just would have told me. You would have saved 6 years of my life. So where I'm going with is I'm personally thinking, just from these past two experiences, that it's always best just to say it up front and obviously spend some time thinking about how you're going to communicate and say it. But what would you appreciate, right? I know if I was with the wrong person or the wrong job or doing something the wrong way with my kids, I would appreciate someone having, the courage and the knowledge to point something out that I might be able to do better. And yes, there is a right way and a wrong way, right way and a wrong way to say it. Obviously, you don't want to be a jerk about it, but I think it could end up changing someone's life. And to me, I would risk that, uh, especially knowing I do it the right way and being very careful with my words. I'd rather risk that, knowing I'm going to make an impact, even if it does mean someone is mad at me for a little while. And I've been a part of that, even in college. Had to tell a really good friend that I thought the person they were dating was horrible, and they were, and I think everyone else could see it, and I was the only one that had the courage to say it. And the person was mad at me, one of my really good friends, for a while, and then came back around like, man, yeah, you're 100% right. Wish I had seen that, and ended up thanking me. But it did suck having that little period of time where the person's literally mad at you. And so we had another one, and this was one that I wasn't directly involved with, but it was on a conference call with a bunch of people, and I'm still the CEO of the company, so it was someone on my team that had screwed up, and they were backpedaling as fast as they humanly could on this call. Everyone on the call at this point now knew they had messed up, so they didn't know it going in. Once we dug in a little bit on the call, it was very obvious, like 100% apparent, that the person had messed up, didn't know their stuff, didn't know their numbers, and kind of looked like a fool, in my opinion. But as a CEO, it still rolls up to me. And so I'm sitting here just kind of watching this unfold. And I watch this person just talk and talk and talk and talk. And you and I both know what happens. Even though it's way easier to say, I would never do that, when you watch someone else do it, yet we all tend to kind of do that when we know we're kind of not caught in a lie per se, but just caught looking like an idiot. We start trying to talk our way out of it and, essentially prove, right? This is the whole proving and hiding. If you've listened to that podcast, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, go listen to the Proving and Hiding podcast on Unchurched. It's what most of us do. It's our natural inclination when we are losing face, if you will, or looking bad in front of friends or peers, coworkers, whatever. We tend to either prove or hide. And in this case, instead of just turning off your camera and kind of hiding from the whole thing or just changing the subject, this person was just trying to prove big time. And it was to the point, like, I was now kind of getting a little bit embarrassed. And I think even other people on the call were embarrassed for them. It was just one of those tough ones to watch. And it irks me when someone is wrong and they're not willing to admit it. So this is another one where, instead of just being on it, like, had he just stopped and said, hey guys, I screwed up here. Like, I completely botched this one. It would have been a billion times better, because that's the truth, right? This is the whole being honest. And instead, we all knew the truth, and yet he was trying to talk his way around it and out of it every angle possible. It ended up making him look even worse. So that's just another example of being truthful. And what I ended up doing, I was concerned that the other people on this call were now going to think differently of Joe and Luke and Salt Strong just because, we still represent the company and we're on the call. And obviously I'm the CEO of the company. And so I reached out to someone there on the team who, on the other side of this, that needed to hear it and just be like, hey, you know what? I take full responsibility because I should have been more involved in this whole thing, and it never should have happened in the first place. And that was another one, and that is the truth. Like the truth. I think why I was so irritated and frustrated, it wasn't so much at this person. It honestly was because of me, and that would have been easier for me just to point fingers and say, oh yeah, well, Bob screwed up, wasn't paying attention to his stuff. But as CEO, just like the head of your household or the parent or whatever it is your role in life, at some point you have responsibilities and you have duties and you have people underneath you, and all that rolls up. I mean, that's the good and the bad about being CEO of a company is, at the end of the day, if someone screws up at the bottom, it's still going to impact me. It might be a reflection on me, and at some point I have to take ownership of it. And yeah, there are some things that are out of my control, and I could have easily have said this one was, but then again, I can also paint a picture and say, you know what? I'm going to take full ownership of it. And I just wanted to personally apologize. And I think that went so far. And I watched how far it went. Like, man, thank you so much for going out of your way to call me. Cause like I was a little bit worried and kind of concerned. And like just the fact that you went out of your way to call me and kind of take ownership just says a lot about you. And so I now gained so much more trust just because I was honest and kind of took the fall on that one. And partially it was my fault. And so I think that's just another example. These are two very different examples of when you just want to be honest. It is so easy to prove and hide. It's what most of us do. And if you haven't heard that podcast, I'll give you kind of a brief rundown. But in general, when we get pushed into a corner like that gentleman did on the call, not knowing their stuff and kind of got caught in a big screw up, we tend to kind of get pushed into a corner, that feeling of getting pushed into a corner where everyone's looking at you. And we do one of two things. Either we prove, and that means like beat our chest and talk our way out of it, or we hide. And hiding means just kind of running away from the whole thing, avoiding it, not ever doing it again, like meaning just quitting your job and just kind of running away from all of the pain and the embarrassment, if you will. And so I would challenge you, when you feel that way, and you will, it is 100% guaranteed to happen. Every one of us have different fears, have different insecurities, no matter who you are. Every one of us, no matter how powerful you are, how much money you have, no matter what someone might see on the outside, every one of us has internal fears and insecurities. And when those come to light, whether it's in front of a lot of people or one person or even just yourself, we all tend to do one of two things, which is either prove, beat our chest and talk about how awesome we were last week or in the last time we did this or whatever it is, or we hide and purposely don't do things that could maybe make us look bad, right? We purposely stay away from things that might get even close to us, hitting that insecurity level. And I would just say, and this is really tough, but it's really awesome. It's where all the magic happens. When you feel that way, do the opposite. Come out and be honest. Come out and be truthful. Come out and instead of beating your chest, just, yeah, you know what? I screwed up. I want to take 100% responsibility for this. Or, yeah, you know what? Here's what I'm really thinking right now. I don't want to hide behind this, my thoughts, just because of my fear that you might not like me. But, here's the truth that I really believe that I'm called to tell you this. And you'll be shocked at what happens. I've been shocked what's happened in my life whenever I feel myself getting in that, and I can just take a little breath, kind of stop, and just speak the truth. It is amazing what happens, right? Because that's really the opposite of the proving and hiding is just the truth, right? Because proving and hiding is just, it's a false narrative, right? You're running away. You're trying to change the narrative to make you look better and not so insecure. So do the opposite. Tell the truth. Be honest. And so hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it reached the right person. It's been on my heart. And after I went through these two things and both of them, it turned out to be like really awesome. Like I literally now have better relationships with both of these people from just being honest. Whereas it might have blown up in my face had I not just addressed it and or hid from it, kind of shoved it underneath the couch, if you will. So I just encourage you when the next one comes up, maybe you're dealing with one right now, or something's been on your mind with someone you love, to either be honest with them or just to tell the truth on something that maybe you've already hidden, right? Because we've all done that before, where we kind of knew we screwed up something, or knew that maybe we screwed up something, or maybe we were even just 2% remotely responsible for a screw up. And we kind of just either prove or hide behind it and try to justify why we did it or why it was someone else's fault. I'm telling you, it is liberating to just come out and admit fault sometimes, to apologize, and or to just completely just tell the truth. So I'll be praying for you guys. I know this was meant for at least one person. Every one of these podcasts are. I feel like God always kind of speaks through me and touches that right person. So if it's you, let me know if I can pray for you in any way, and just do it, as Nike says. Just do it. So tell the truth always, unless it's someone asking about their weight or something like that. So love you guys. Hope you have an amazing day, an amazing week, and I'll talk to you on the next episode.
Want more fishing tips, shortcuts, and tools so you can catch more fish per trip? Then head over to saltstrong.com now and join the movement. Tight lines, and thanks for listening.